was burned. November 17, 1957. The CIA logged MKUltra Subproject 43 as terminated. The official memo said all materials were destroyed by fire at 0400 hours. According to the file I recovered, the patient log continued for another 11 days. I found this reel in a surplus auction outside Baltimore, inside a locked ammunition box marked medical waste. The last 11 seconds explain why they never closed the ward at Edgewood Arsenal. MKUltra was real. That part is not a story. Declassified documents from the 1970s show the program ran from 1953 to 1973. It tested chemicals, sound, and sleep patterns on volunteers and, according to the files, on people who did not volunteer. Subproject 43 was listed only once, in a budget line for deep sleep research. No results were published. No final report exists. The file I have is not the official report. It is a technician's personal audio log. The label reads Subject 7, Session 19 to 31. The voice belongs to a man named Thomas Keller, a junior audio engineer assigned to the ward in October 1957. He was 24 years old. He was not supposed to keep copies. According to the file, Subject 7 was admitted on October 3rd. He was listed as a male, age 31, former Army clerk. No last name is given. The intake note says he volunteered for a sleep study for extra pay. The consent form is missing from the folder. Keller describes the room. It was underground, no windows, walls painted a flat green that looked gray under the fluorescent lights. A single bed, a chair, a microphone hanging from the ceiling, and a reel-to-reel recorder behind glass. The air smelled like old paper and disinfectant. Every night at 2,200 hours, they played a tone. Keller calls it the lullaby. It was not music. It was a low hum at 4.7 hertz, just below hearing. 3 names appear on every shift log: Keller, Dr. Morrison, and Nurse Park. A 4th signature is on the termination order, but the ink is smeared. According to the file, only 3 people were cleared to enter the room after day 9. On night 19, Keller says Subject 7 stopped responding to his name. The monitors showed steady breathing, steady heart rate. His eyes were closed. The doctors called it a deep sleep state. They increased the tone slightly. Keller notes in his log that the tape recorder picked up something else under the hum. He describes it as a second voice, very faint, speaking in time with the patient's breathing. Day 22. According to the file, Subject 7 had not woken for 72 hours. This was not unusual for the study. What was unusual was the log entry from Nurse Park. She wrote that the patient was speaking while asleep. Not mumbling. Clear sentences. The words were not English. Keller tried to clean the audio. He says the voice did not match the patient's intake recording. Keller started keeping his own reel. He was afraid the main recorder would be wiped. In his personal log, he asks a question he never answers. Why did they choose a clerk with no family? He also notes that the tone was changed on day 24. The frequency stayed at 4.7 hertz, but a second tone was layered on top. He calls it the carrier. Here is the first open loop. The file lists 4 vials taken from storage on day 24. 3 are accounted for in the inventory. The 4th is missing. The log does not say what was in them. On day 26, Dr. Morrison ordered the room sealed. No one entered for 48 hours except through the glass. Keller watched from the control booth. He says Subject 7 did not move. The monitors never changed. The voice on the tape continued. Keller transcribed a fragment. It reads, "The door is open. The door is open. Do not let them adjust the frequency." Keller believed the patient was not dreaming. He believed the patient was listening. According to the file, Morrison believed something else. His handwritten margin note says, "Subject is receiving, not transmitting." Day 28. Nurse Park refused to enter the room. Her shift report says she heard her own name on the monitor feed when no one was speaking. Keller replaced her on the night shift. He describes sitting alone in the booth, watching the green line of the heart monitor move up and down. He says the lullaby felt heavier that night, like pressure in the ears. This is the second hook. Keller mentions a visitor on day 29. The logbook shows no visitor cleared. The audio picks up a fourth set of footsteps in the hallway, stopping outside the sealed door. The door never opened. Day 30. According to the file, Subject 7 opened his eyes. Keller is clear on this. The patient did not wake up. He opened his eyes while the monitors still showed deep sleep patterns. Keller says the eyes were unfocused, looking past the ceiling. The microphone captured a clear sentence in English. The voice was not Subject 7's. Keller writes, "It used my name." Morrison ordered the tone stopped immediately. The official log says the experiment was terminated due to equipment failure. Keller's personal reel says the equipment worked perfectly. He says when they stopped the tone, the patient smiled. Then the monitors flatlined for 11 seconds. Then they returned to normal. Subject 7 did not close his eyes again. From day 31 onward, the patient never woke up. That phrase appears 17 times in Keller's log. Not asleep. Not comatose. Never woke up. The doctors tried standard stimuli. No response. They tried the tone again at lower volume. No response. They tried silence. The microphone still picked up the faint second voice, now speaking continuously under the room noise. Keller made a decision on day 33. He spliced his personal reel into the main archive, hiding it inside a test tone reel labeled Destroy. He thought someone would find it later. He was right, but not for the reason he expected. The file contains a transcript of the final session. Keller is alone in the booth. He addresses Subject 7 directly, though the patient cannot hear him. He asks what the voice is saying. He plays back the recording at half speed. According to the file, the voice is counting down. Not numbers, names. 3 names are clear on the tape. Keller, Morrison, Park. The 4th name is distorted by static. Keller writes that he recognizes the rhythm of it, but not the word. Here is the 3rd open loop. The termination order is dated November 17, 1957. It is signed by Morrison, Park, and Keller. The 4th signature is smeared, but Keller's personal note says it was added after the fire. He never saw who signed it. On November 16th, the night before the official termination, Keller entered the sealed room alone. This violated every protocol. His log entry is short. I turned off the recorder. I sat next to the bed. Subject 7 was warm. His eyes were open. He was listening to something I could not hear. I asked him to wake up. He did not. The voice on the tape said my name again, but this time it came from the corner of the room, not the speaker. The morning of November 17th, the ward was cleared. The official report says all materials were incinerated at 0400. Keller's reel was not in the incinerator. He mailed it to himself, care of a post office box in Baltimore.
Name 1,
the
name
box
2,
was
name
closed
3.
in 1962 for non-payment. The ammunition box sat in a government surplus warehouse for 63 years. According to the file, Subject 7 was transferred to a long-term facility in Maryland under a different case number. No discharge date is listed. No death certificate was filed under his admission name. The facility closed in 1981. Its records were lost in a flood. I have listened to the entire reel 19 times. The audio quality is poor, full of hiss and hum. The lullaby is there, underneath everything. At 4.7 hertz you feel it more than hear it. The second voice is real on the tape. It does not sound like a recording error. It sounds like someone speaking very close to the microphone, in a room that should have been empty. The last 11 seconds are different. Keller stops speaking. The room is silent except for the hum. Then the hum stops. In the sudden quiet, you can hear a chair move, a door open, and footsteps walking away from the microphone, not toward it. Then a man's voice, very clear, very calm, says, "Keep the frequency." He is still listening. That voice does not belong to Keller, Morrison, or Park. It matches none of the staff logs. According to the file, no one else was cleared to be in that building that night. The reel ends there. The tape was burned on the edge, as if someone tried to destroy it and stopped. The box contained one other item, a small piece of paper, folded twice, handwritten in pencil. "If you hear your name, do not answer." I do not know what happened to Subject 7. I do not know who the fourth signature belongs to. I do know that MKUltra Subproject 43 was never officially closed. It was only renamed. The budget line appears again in 1963 under a different office, with the same 4.7 Hz frequency listed as equipment. The file is now in your hands. Listen carefully. If you work the night shift, if you wear headphones, if you hear a low hum under the static, turn the volume down. According to Keller's last note, the patient never woke up because he was not the one who was supposed to sleep.